Should you write out your entire comic before making it? Well, yes, kind of. You see, no one is going to stop you from working on your comic before you write it. Plenty of people have a fine time doing it. I've done it before, in fact, but after doing it several times, I can't say I'm happy with the results, and I would like to tell you a little bit about why that is. Now, there is a spectrum of writers out there, from meticulous planners to people who go it by the seat of their pants. I am the latter. And for the longest time, I thought this meant that I'd be fine if I wrote my comics this way, by the seat of my pants. In fact, I thought it was the only way I could do it. I mean, if I wrote it all out, it would be boring, right? Well, not really. The thing about writing your script is no matter when you do it, it'll be fun. And the more upfront work you do on it, the more time you have to dig into other aspects of the story. And that is also fun. Scripts are far from the last creative decision made about your comic. And with a completed script, you're able to make informed design choices, budget your time, and edit if needed. It's probably needed. If this is your first time writing, you may not be aware of this, but stories aren't written. They're rewritten. Perfect drafts do not happen. The first draft is usually a hot mess, and nothing is quite as final as finishing a comic page. Scripts are way easier to edit than thumbnails, which are easier than pencils, which are easier than inks. Writing a script gives you the chance to edit big mistakes early. Other advantages scripts give you a chance for outside opinions early. I'm much more open about sharing my scripts these days, especially with other comic writers. It's hard to see your own work objectively, and since scripts are easier to produce than a full comic, they are great for sharing and receiving feedback. If you can't find anyone to share it with, scripts also give you the chance to share it with your smarter future self. Just because you write a script doesn't mean it's final either. But again, informed decisions. Getting the space from your script gives you a whole new perspective on it. One very different than what you'd get without having written it. You know? Another thing I'd like to add is that writing a complete script is nothing. Okay, it's not nothing, but for me it takes about a month to write 300 pages of comic script. And just for the record, I'm like a turtle when it comes to writing. The hardest part about writing is all the thought that happens around those pages. And if you have something laid down, it's easier to think about. Now, there are only a few exceptions I'd give to the script writing rule. The main one is if you're a meticulous outliner. A script might not be needed up front, but usually it's not outliners that try and get away without a script. I'll stress this point once more. If you are a pantser, the first draft is your outline. Another exception to writing the full script is if you want to do any proof of concept work. For every comic we've made, Ursula and I have started on opening pages way before the script is done, usually in the form of a prologue. So like if things super change, we can most likely still keep the prologue. We usually do this to test the style, how the page layouts are gonna work, and we test to see if the comic is even something we want to do. While you can see these in our published work, there's also plenty of comics that live in our comic graveyard that never made it past the proof of concept stage. Proof of concept is great as a writer because I can start tailoring my scripts to the limits of the chosen style because I see it, how it functions, oh my god, and then I can make informed decisions on how I want to write, how many panels is the limit, what's pushing it too far, and what's pushing it not enough. We usually end up using these pages because we're lazy, and we use them as the initial pages for launch because you want to start with like a whole bunch of pages when you launch a comic, and the proof of concept usually works well enough for that. But even these proof of concept pages have come to bite me in the ass, so be warned. The beginning of your comic is important, and if you screw it up, you can't go back. I mean, you can. Anyways, the other exception, if you don't want to write a full script, is if you're working on a pitch. If you're working on a pitch for publishers, a full script isn't always needed. However, if you don't know how to write a script, you probably shouldn't be pitching one. The final exception is if you are a magical comic wizard. If you are a magical comic wizard that can make scriptless comics work for you, more power to you, keep at it, do your dreams. But either way, I love scripts. In my perspective, there are a few few cons when it comes to writing scripts. So don't overlook them. I've never been upset about finishing a script before working, but I have been upset about doing the opposite. I have many works that didn't end up getting edited enough because of it. They have weird paces that could not be fixed in the thumbnail or any other thumbnail, comic, blah 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 stages, and I have discovered messy plots way too late to be fixed, and I have written myself into many different corners, which were very difficult to get out of, but I did, because, like, I got some experience on that. But either way, finish scripts. So, okay guys, I've got like 10 days left on my Kickstarter. 9 maybe. 10. 9? Okay. So, if you like that, check it out. I actually wrote all of the script for Magpie. Not before starting it, though. I wrote the script of the first volume, though. So, that's something, I guess. I'm improving. I am a recovering scriptless addict. Other things. I think you guys are pretty alright. And I enjoy talking sometimes. I mostly just edit things. I don't know what I'm... Okay, keep doing you, and do it good. Okay, goodbye.